Hey there Shilpi, and in this video I am going to create high availability architecture on AWS with command line interface. To do the same, I will launch an EC2 instance in Virginia region and I will configure that instance as web server. As we need high availability architecture, so we will use simple and cheap EBS volume to keep text data and S3 to store static objects like images and videos, and then further we'll launch those static objects on CloudFront to reduce the global latency. So this is my AWS management console, and here we can see that we are already in Virginia region and we don't have any EC2 instance running. We don't have any key pair, we don't have any security group as such, but we have one security group, but this is the default one. So we are not going to use this anywhere because it has all the traffics allowed in inbound and outbound rule. So we will create all these things manually because to launch an instance we need all these things. So first of all we'll create key, we'll create a security group and we'll authorize the inbound rule to that security group as per our need. So let's go to command lines. And here I have already installed AWS CLI software in my Windows, and I have already configured my AWS access key, secret key, and already configured default region is Virginia. So let's cut the crap and I'll just jump into the practical part. So I have made a document for commands that I'm going to use in this video. So these are all the commands. So in order to launch an instance, first we need to create a key pair and we also need a security group as per our need. So with this command I am going to create a security group. So just let's copy it and paste it here. So if it won't give me any error, that means security group is created. So this gave me the security group ID, and as security group comes under EC2 services, and we need to give description for security group and we need to give group name. So these two are a must option for security group creation. And the thing is, how I get to know about these two commands, like these two options, how I get to know that we need these two options to create security group. So we always have help command in AWS. Whatever we need to know, this help command provided us. So which I'll show you. So this is AWS and EC2. Create security group. So if we want to know how to create security group, what all options we need to provide, so we will just go, we will write the command like AWS EC2 create security group, and we'll just type help. So it will provide us all the required needed things, that what all we need. So these are the options like description. So how to provide description. So it is showing that description should be a string, and group name, so again group name should be a string. So everything whatever we need it will provide us, and also it has provided us some examples. First example is if we need to create a security group for EC2 Classic. So simply this can be the command to create a security group. So again here group name and description they have provided. So these two are the must option to create a security group. So we have created a security group. Now we will provide inbound rules to the security group. So this is the command to provide inbound rule to security group. I'll just again copy it and paste it here. So so we provided in the above option, we have provided SG1 as security group name. So in the same security group we will add one inbound rule. So this is the command to add inbound rule, that is authorize security group ingress rules, and we have to provide which protocol we want to allow, which port number we want to allow, and which all IPs we want to allow. So as HTTP comes under TCP, so we have allowed TCP protocol, and for HTTP we need 80 number port. So we have allowed port 80, and all the IPs, as we want to create web server, that means we want it to be public, so we have allowed all the IPs, and for all the IPs we just use 0.0.0.0 and prefix length is 0. So this is the command to provide inbound rule. So we'll just do it, and as it is not giving any error, so it means it is succeeded. So next we'll go to another command. So now we will create a key pair. So we'll use this command to create key pair. Here AWS EC2 create key pair. This is the command to create key pair, and again these 3 are the options that we need to create a key pair. If we want to create key pair, then simply EC2 create key pair, and key name we can provide and it will create key pair. But as we need to go inside the instance to do SSH, so we need to have .pem file for key. So we need to have private key file. So what we will do is we will just do AWS EC2 create key pair, and we will provide key name, and then we will do query on key name, because when we create any key, it gives us output and it gives us key material. So whatever key material it will provide, I just want it to go inside this file mykey.pem, and I will use this key file as private key for doing SSH. So I just created the key, and whatever input will come, whatever output will come in key material, it will just go inside the mykey.pem. So that will be my private key. Now as we have created security group and we bound it with the TCP port number 80 inbound rule, and we have created a key pair also. But the thing is, we have provided only one inbound rule, that is for port number 80, that will allow only HTTP protocol. But we need to do SSH into our instance also, so we need to provide one more inbound rule, and that will allow port number 22. So again we will do this, and we will add port number 22 also. So AWS EC2 authorized security group ingress, group name same, and protocol, this will be port number 22, and again protocol will be TCP same. So I'm entering it, and it will add that rule port number 22 also in that. So this is well and good. Now we will try to describe the security group, whether both the protocols added or not. So we will use AWS EC2 describe security group. Okay, so we'll do this, and it will describe all the security group that it has. So one will be the default security group, and one will be the one that we have created. So its we can see here its description is security group for web server, means this is the one that we have created now. So name is SG1, well and good, and it is allowing, it is IP permissions, so it is allowing port number 80 TCP for all the IPs, and also it is allowing port number 22 TCP for all the IPs. That means we can do SSH into this instance, and we can use it as web server. As we have fulfilled all the requirements to launch an instance, so we will just directly now launch the instance. So to launch the instance, we again have command, and this is the command, but we don't have security group ID, so we have to retrieve it. So first we will retrieve the security group ID. For that we have command AWS EC2 describe security group, describe security groups. So it will show me all the security group and its detail, whatever we have. So yeah, first of all, this is security group for web server SG1. That means this is the same security group that we have launched. So we will now find its security group ID, and here we got, this is the security group ID for the same. So we'll just copy it, and from this we will launch the instance. So this is the command to launch instance, and this is the security group ID. So we'll just copy this and paste it here. So it will launch an instance for me. So again, this command required AWS EC2, because we are launching EC2 instance, and run instances is the command to launch instance, and image ID, this is the compulsory option, we have to provide image ID. And instance type, this is not any compulsory option, because T2 medium, I think, yeah, T2 medium is the default instance type, but as T2 micro is free instance type, so we are providing instance type also, that is T2 micro. And key name, again this is the compulsory option, and here we are providing public key name to launch our instance. And security group, this is not a compulsory option, but as we want our web server should have some fixed and bound rules, so we are providing this security group. So as this instance launches, this gave us so many things, but it is in pending condition now, because it takes some time, some minutes, or can say some seconds to launch. So it won't give me public IP now, but we need its public IP. So we will again do describe instance, so that it will show me. So the command will be AWS EC2 describe instances. Want to know the public IP of our instance that we launched, so that we will go inside the instance, we will do SSH, and we'll do some configuration, means web server configuration. So we will do EC2 AWS EC2 describe instance. So it will tell me the details of all the instances. So yeah, so this is the instance that we launched here, and we can find public IP here. Yeah, so we got it. This is the public IP. As we got public IP, so we can do SSH inside it. So for SSH we have command SSH, and -i, with -i we can provide the key. So what was our key? Our key was mykey1.pem, and -l will provide the user, that is EC2-user for EC2 instances, and then we'll provide the IP. So this is the public IP. So with this way we'll just do SSH into this. I wanted to remember my public IP, so I will just do SS. Yes. Now as we enter into the SSH, how I know? Because it is showing this EC2 user, and this is the public IP. Earlier it was C user del for my Windows, and then now it is this one. So this is the AWS instance. So as we enter into the AWS instance, now we will do web server configuration. And for web server configuration, again we have to follow 3 steps. First we have to install that software for the web server configuration. So we will install Apache HTTPD, and then we have to configure web page, means that is in /var/www/html folder. We have to create our website or web page, and then we will start the services. So first we will go into the root, because we can't use yum from other user. To use yum we need to have sudos, or we need to have root path. So we will go to sudo su hyphen root to go into the root user. Yeah, we can see here we land into the root user. Now we will install the httpd. So yum install httpd and -y to do installation. So we did it. Now it is installing. After it got installed, we will go into the /var/www/httpd folder, and there will create some page, but we will not create page any web page now, because we want that web page to be in EBS volume. So we will not create it now. We have just installed the httpd software. Now we will start the service. So to start the service, the command is systemctl start httpd. This is the command, and we want it to be stable. We want it to be active after reboot also. So we will do systemctl enable httpd. Okay, so it will be enabled even after rebooting of this system also. So we have done all this. Now we need to create web page, but we want to create high availability architecture. So I already mentioned that we will create the web page on EBS volume, and we will put all the static object like image and video on S3 volume. So first, now we will attach the volume to this instance, and over that instance, over that volume, we will create our web page. Fine. So we will exit from here. We exited. Now again we'll exit from EC2 also. Yeah. So again we came into the our windows. From here we will create EBS volume. So again I have command to create EBS volume. Yeah, here it is, AWS create volume, and this, but as EBS volume is a zonal service, so we need to know the availability zone of this instance. So again we will do describe instance, and from here we'll get to know the availability zone of this instance, and at the same availability zone we will create our EBS volume. So US is to 1D is our availability zone. I just copied it and I'll paste it here. So this is the command to create EBS volume. I have just copied it and I'll paste it here. So it is showing me some error, like I have done something wrong. So I have to check what I have done. Oh sorry, I missed EC2. Yeah, so again I'll do the same. I'll paste it here and I'll insert EC2 here. EC2. Now we'll create volume. So yeah, volume created. So what command we have used? AWS EC2, and to create volume we have used a create volume command, and this is again, these three are compulsory options, like availability zone. Of course we have to provide, so that it will create the EBS volume in same availability zone, and we have to provide size, like how much size we want our disk to be, and volume type GP2 and all. We can again get all these things from help command, but as we have created the EBS volume, so it is in same availability zone as of our instance, and many other things it has given. Now as we have created our EBS volume, now we will attach it to our launched instance. So for that again we have command AWS EC2 attach volume, and again we have some to provide some options, like which instance we want to attach and which volume we want to attach. So for volume we have option -- volume ID, and here it has given volume ID somewhere. Yeah, here it is, volume ID. So we'll just copy it and paste it here. And also we have to provide instance ID of the instance that we launched above, instance ID. So we have to check what was the instance ID, as we have already yeah, this is the instance ID that we launched. I will just copy it and paste it there. And also we have to provide the name of device. So we will give let's say SDA and XDV something we can give. So I will just do it. Let's say whether it will succeed or not. It is showing error, so we will just take help, like which name it will support, because we don't know the name exactly. So we'll just write AWS EC2 attach volume and help. So it will give me all the options and everything. So here example, also they have given AWS EC2 attach volume, volume ID, instance ID. All this we have done already. So device name should be in this format, like dev and SDF. In this format device name should be there. So okay, we'll provide in this format only now. So we'll change it /dev/SDF. okay, now let's check whether it succeeds or not. Yeah, it succeeded, and our volume got attached. So now again we will jump into the instance and we will go to SSH, and there we'll create partition in this ABS volume and we'll attach over the our web folder. So again let's do SSH. We have already done, so we have command. So we'll again do SSH. We landed up into that instance. Again we'll do sudo -root. We landed into root. Now we'll check whether we have that block stored as or not. So df-h, it is not showing that here because we have not mounted it here, we have not formatted it first, so it is not showing it now. So we'll create partition and we'll format it and then we'll mount it. So to create partition we have command as fdisk and disk name. So what was the disk name? /dev/SDF. Let's check whether it is there or not. Changes will remain in memory. Decide to write them. Cannot open this file or directory. Why it is showing this? It is showing again this. So lsblk. Okay, so after attaching the volume, whatever we name the disk, it changes sometimes. So after changing, it gave the name of xvdf. So we have to create partition in this volume, in this disk. So what our command was? fdisk and /dev/xvdf. Okay, so we landed inside that disk. Now it is asking for command M for help. So we want to create new partition, so we'll just type N, enter. So it is asking me whether we want to create partition, primary partition or extended partition, but we don't want to create any partition. We just want to format it and we just want to mount it on our folder. So we'll just create it primary and click it. Partition number default is 1, so we'll just click it. And first, yeah, from here to here, yeah, we want to click it. Yeah, and we don't want to create any partitions. We want total to be a single partition, so of course we'll just click it. Default is complete. And again M4R, we just want to write it and we want to confirm it, so we'll just type W for write. And yeah, so we have created partition. We can again check it, LSBLK, check it with list block stores. So now it is showing me XVDF also has one partition, that is of 1023 MB, and it has 0 partition. Well and good. So we will now format it. For format we have many file format type, but we will use mkfs.ext3 format to format our partition, and our partition name is /dev/xvdf1, right? So okay, so it has created partition and it has formatted it. Well and good. Now we will just mount it. So for mount we have command mount, what was the name, /dev/xvdf1 over our folder. What is the name of our folder is /var/www/html. Okay, so we have mounted this disk, partition of this disk over our folder, web folder. So we have mounted. Now whatever we will create inside this folder, it will go into this disk and it will be temporary. So it won't get whenever something will happen to the hard disk of our instance, it won't make any effect on the content that we will create inside this folder. So now we will jump into that folder. For that we have command cd/var/www/html. We landed into this folder. Now we can create any file. So we will create vim, let's say web.html. Okay, we don't have vim, so we'll just simply use vi web.html. This vi editor opened, and we'll click I to start. So we'll write some easy HTML code. So I'm just writing and basic color, let's say 0000, and we'll close it. Hi, this is our demonstration page. Fine, and we'll close it now. Yeah, so our page is created. Now we will just check whether it is working or not. So curl, and what was our IP? Sorry, but we need to check our IP, public IP. This is our public IP. So curl http public IP. Okay, this is Linux server, so we can't simply do 3208.31 3208.31 and 111 web.html. Fine. This is showing that it is giving me 403 forbidden error. So as it is giving me forbidden error, means it has some SE Linux issue. So we have to stop SE Linux for some time. So it is not a good practice to stop SE Linux, but for some time we'll do, just to check whether our page is running or not. So for that we have command set enforce 0. Now we'll check whether SE Linux stopped or not. So for that, get enforce, okay, sorry, it is get enforce. Yeah, it is permissive. Now we will again do curl and whether we'll check whether it is working or not. Yeah, so this is our demonstration page. So it is working good. But we have just given text data here. Now we want to give some image data also. So again we'll go out of this instance and we'll create S3 bucket. We'll put some images there and we'll launch that images. We'll host that images over CloudFront, and then we'll put the link of CloudFront here. Okay, so we'll just exit from here, exit from EC2 also. Now we again landed into the Windows. Now again we have command to create S3 bucket. So this is the command we have to create S3 bucket. I'm just copying it and pasting it here. I pasted it, and yeah, make bucket. It created bucket for me, but we want to put some images in that. So we will upload images to this bucket, and for that we have this command. I'll just copy it and paste it here. So this is AWS S3. We are not using EC2 here. We are using S3 command here, S3 services here. So AWS S3 and copy CP to copy. And this is the location of my image. This is the location of my image that I want to upload here. And this is the name of file in which I want to upload my instance, like upload my image. But sorry, I have done some mistake. This was the bucket we created and I am giving the wrong name of bucket. So that is why it gave me error. So I will just change it. What was that? Web bucket 9211. Yeah, and we have given ACL, that is ACL public read. That means we are giving it to a public access. That means public can read it. Means we are making this bucket and this object inside the bucket all public, so that public can access this. And also this is the format to provide our bucket, that is S3 colon and slash slash, and here again I am giving wrong name. Let me change it. Yeah, so web bucket, this fine, I'll do it. Let's hope that it won't give. Yeah, it is uploaded. Now it is uploaded inside our bucket. So we will now host it on CloudFront. So for that also we have command. This is the command to host it on CloudFront. I will again copy it and paste it here. So AWS CloudFront. Now we are using CloudFront services. First we were using EC2 services, then we have used S3 services for bucket and image upload, and now we are using CloudFront services of AWS. And this is the command to create distribution in CloudFront. Create distribution. We can get all these things from help command, AWS help and AWS CloudFront help, and further whatever wherever we need help, we will just put the command and we'll put help. It will give us the options that it is supporting. So for that we have to provide origin domain name. That means as we want to host our objects from S3, so we will give the S3 bucket name, that is web bucket 9211 and S3, and this is the way to give the bucket name. And whichever image we want to launch, we want to host, we will just provide it as default root object. So we want this image because we have uploaded this image only. We have uploaded this image, so we want to host this image, so we'll just provide it as default root object and we'll just enter it. So let's hope for best that it won't give any error. Wait for some time, we'll see whether it is giving any error or it is succeeding. I think I have not put enter. Yeah, so sometimes due to some network glitches it gives error, so I'll again use the same command and I'll enter. I had some network issue due to that it was giving error, but I again use the same command and it has succeeded. It does not give any error to us, and it gave me many things about this AWS CloudFront. So it gave me domain name also. So this is the domain name it created. So we will use this domain name inside our web page to host the image that we put inside that bucket. So we'll just copy it, or we'll just use this, and again we'll go inside our web page and we'll put its link there. So this is the command to do SSH inside the R instance, and here I'll do sudo and I'll go into the root. Again here I'll do cd. I went inside my inside my folder. I'll go inside my page, web page, and here I'll put ing src is equals to http. Sorry, but I forget the name. So again I have to go back. Okay, let's complete it, and I left that domain name. Sorry, not here. Source and height, let's say 100%. And I'll close it. So I'm going out of this and I'll get the domain name. I got the domain name. I went inside it again and I'll paste it here. Yeah, I pasted it and it okay, fine. Now I'll save it. I'll go outside and now I'll check whether it is showing me my web page and that image or not. So I will just minimize it and I'm here. So I'll check HTTP this was our piece. Okay, so this was the CloudFront website, like CloudFront link. So it is showing me the image. Now I want to see whether my IP, whether my web page is showing me same or not. HTTP this. Sorry, but again I forget my public IP. So let me check what is my public IP. I must have done SSH here itself. Yeah, this is my public IP. Control C and not this, Control V / web.html. Yeah, so it is showing my web page. Hi, this is demonstration page, and this is the image that I put inside the S3 bucket, and I hosted it on CloudFront. So we can see how easily and how fast it gave me my web page, because it created local cache through CloudFront services, and I have already clicked it here, so it does not take any time, and it just showed me my website as soon as possible.